Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Tanya and a very heartfelt welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for considering me as someone to subscribe to. Today's video is going to be me sharing with you two pieces of beautiful jewelry. One piece I actually received 3 years ago for my 50th, but I never showed you. I had a bit of a I don't know, crisis happening in that year that I turned 50. Not because I turned 50. There were other things happening in the background. And so I never really did much about my 50th, nor shared much with you about the gifts I received. Maybe I'll do a video about that retrospectively. But today's video will be me showing you the piece that I received from a very dear friend of mine for my 50th, from Georg Jensen. And then the other Georg Jensen unboxing will be a beautiful piece of jewelry that I recently bought for myself. Now, if you're familiar with Georg Jensen, you know some of the most iconic pieces. So they have their beautiful stainless steel that are used and crafted into magnificent, stylish, timeless, sleek, beautiful designs for the home. So decor, the home and everything. I've got my eye on a couple of pieces. But you need to have the type of home that really accommodates the coolness and the sleekness and the shine of stainless steel, because it can have a bit of a cold appearance. Anyway, that's the home decor side. Then of course they have the jewelry side. Now the jewelry side, Georg Jensen, has always been something that I've kept my eye on and I've watched slowly over the years. You know, it's always been there, back of my mind. And certainly their iconic ring, you know, the interlocking puzzle piece type rings, and I'll have the name showing here. Beautiful. Now I love the ones that are the two-tone, even the tri-tone metal gold, with naturally the diamonds throughout. And a friend of mine has that and it is truly magnificent. So the piece I'm going to share with you today is not a ring. Certainly that is on my wish list of things to come in the future. But you know, you're going to handle these things slowly. And in the spirit of, you know what, rewarding myself for having gone through something a little bit tense lately, and you know, I didn't have to buy this. You know, it was enough that I got through that tense period of something at work. I didn't need to buy anything, so, but still, why not? You know, any little excuse to sort of just push me over the line to buy something, I will definitely do. So let me do it in order. So what we have here is a beautiful, and I have everything still packaged. I think I've used it once. My beautiful close friend gifted me this for my 50th, and I have obviously reboxed it because, well, just because. If you're familiar with the Georg Jensen packaging, you will know that usually their gift wrapping is in a beautiful silver, dark grey with a beautiful silver ribbon. This though is in the packaging which is indicative of the collaboration of this particular piece. So we have this beautiful motif here of the daisy. If you're familiar with Georg Jensen's work, you might recognize this. So here we have the beautiful Georg Jensen in silver foil. The ribbon also has Georg Jensen in raised print. And opening it up is, I'll just remove this. Lovely box. It's lovely sort of green. And inside, Georg Jensen by Stine Goya, who is obviously a designer. And inside you have this beautiful sort of felt wrapping. Stunning is this. So what this is, you're probably wondering what is that? It is a type of ear cuff, but it's more of an ear creeper. You know, that sort of, that piece of jewelry that creeps up the ear. So you position it in one position, in one of your piercings, and then it sort of like moves up. So I will do that and show you, but first I'll show it to you up close. So this is the beautiful daisy motif, and this is all beautiful sterling silver, and you have this nice finish of enamel across the front on the flowers. And then you have like a little bit of the yellow color, you have a little bit of the white. And then at the back is this like sweeping hook design. Now this has been designed to go on my right ear, so it's going to sit like that. So you would position it and filter it into the piercing, and then it sits up. So let me do that. So there she is. How pretty. How beautiful is that? So what I did was I just used my second piecing along my lobe. I've just left that one in, but certainly you could put that in any piecing that you wanted to. Well, I guess it makes sense to have it on your earlobe because then it creeps up the ear. But how beautiful is that? So you can see side on how it has that beautiful sort of look as if it's hugging the ear. It's stunning. And then at the back, you'll just see that it has that little strip. So the hook goes through and into the hole, and then it just sort of hugs the back of your ear to keep it in place. I think it is absolutely beautiful and probably one of the most unique pieces that I have in my collection of earrings. But that is stunning. So to my beautiful, beautiful friend, I can't thank you enough. That is absolutely magnificent. And I've got a lot happening on this ear, so just ignore that, of course. But, you know, you would have that as a signature piece on its own. It is just gorgeous. Now, Georg Jensen continues to have this particular motif in some of their jewelry pieces, and I'll have some beautiful images here of some little bracelets with the daisy on it, some rings. So it's something that has continued to remain in their design repertoire, so to speak. So how beautiful is that? So and this is the first ever Georg Jensen jewelry piece that I received, and I can't stop looking at it. It is just magnificent. So I'm just going to leave it. Okay. Now the next piece I'm going to share with you is one that I bought for myself because I just wanted to. I just worked hard. I've saved up for this. It is by no means, you know, up there in Cartier, VCA, you know, all of that league because of the metal that I chose, but certainly that they have the gold, which would be in that league. But I chose this design because I intend to wear it every day. Now you will have noticed that I have a lot of jewelry. Actually, I'm not even wearing all my bracelets today, but I have a lot of mixed metals. I'm slowly building up my ring stacks, and I know some people won't like that because they don't like that over sort of curated look or that very busy look. And certainly I don't have the fingers for me to be able to wear 3 and 4 rings on each finger. I've got short, stumpy fingers, so I won't be able to do that. But with bracelets, I feel like I have a little bit more leeway. So let me share with you this piece that I bought. Now, this piece is also very much intrinsic and typical of Georg Jensen. It is a piece that has been designed and is known of and has been designed and was designed by a female silversmith. Now, this is really important to me, and that sort of like resonates with me a lot because my daughter currently, who has finished all of her high school schooling, has recently been accepted into a jewelry making design course, and she then has the option of moving on to do silversmithing, goldsmithing, and or gemology, or if she wants to, she can just focus on an apprenticeship. She wants to be a jeweler, and that speaks to me. So the piece that I chose here, which I will share with you, is stunning to me simply because I love the concept and the idea behind it. So let me share some of the information before I open this piece, and I'll have pictures here. Is known as the Torun Bangle. So the Torun, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. I mean, obviously it would be pronounced with the actual correct accent. But anyway, it was designed by Viviana Torun Bangle, I think. Apologies if I have said that name incorrectly. In 1968. So this piece has some history. It is essentially 40 years old, 38 years old. So it is a piece that has been used and loved and worn, and is an intrinsic piece inherent to the house of Georg Jensen, and I think that's beautiful. So it features a distinctive clasp, a curving hook at one end, a loop at the other that meet seamlessly. It reflects not only the designer's inspiration for the piece, that two halves are stronger together, and my other half is my kids, and I am my part, you know. So my 3 kids and myself, in my mind, are like a almost like a tungsten, you know, like that type of titanium steel that doesn't get destroyed. Anyway, but also the principles of functionalism, where every element serves a purpose, and I love that idea because it just makes sense, right? Torun, a pioneering Swedish silversmith, so there's that sort of connection. No real connection, but just in my mind. who was the first woman in her field to gain international acclaim, became a defining Georg Jensen collaborator, creating some of the house's most coveted pieces, including this bangle. So clearly I'm reading from the website here. And that just speaks volumes to me. A hallmark of her work was making the clasp a central element of the design, exemplified here in the Torun Bangle. This edition of the bangle includes a band of something, which I will share with you, adding subtle and unique accents. And given that the piece features natural stones, slight variations in colour are to be expected. So, if you know this piece, if you're familiar with the Torun Bangle, you probably know what I'm going to share with you. And this is a piece that just sort of like fell onto my radar, so to speak, probably about a month ago. And something I was looking at because, you know, I had the shoppies, I had the spendies, and I was thinking, what can I buy? Now, sure, I could have bought a bag and everything, but you know what? I've got a lot of bags. I really want to start thinking about buying and curating a very distinctive jewellery collection that speaks to me and about me and represents me. So I was served by two beautiful women at the boutique at Westfield Doncaster here in Melbourne, and Sophie served me, and her colleague Martha were also wonderful. They guided me, they allowed me to walk around the boutique having the bangle on, let me take my time, try it on different variations. I will also share towards the end of the video another bracelet that I fell in love with, again in the same material, the same sort of metal finish, and something else for me to save up for and towards. So I think I've spoken long enough, let's get on with it. So in the bag is the actual box, beautifully wrapped. So this is more of the traditional silver, sort of grey silver packaging. It's so pretty, I can't bring myself to undo it, but what's inside is more pretty. Also, she included a beautiful little velvet suede type pouch. Obviously, you could use this to travel and keep the bangle in that, or even just store it. So let's go. So we have here the beautiful silver grey ribbon, which has Georg Jensen debossed all over it in a beautiful silver. Here's the box. Oh, let's do this properly. Taking it out of the box is yet another box. Don't you love that? And then opening this up is this. So inside, on a little cushion, is my Torun Bangle. This is 925 sterling silver, 18 karat gold accents, and yellow diamonds. The box is beautiful. It's like velvet lined and beautiful. It's just like really nice and substantial. Ooh, how pretty is she? So initially, Sophie, who was the young woman who served me, was going to give me the one that I tried on, which was a display piece. And I said, can I please have a new one? This is just something I wanted, which makes sense. And so up close, this is what the bangle looks like. So it's a little bit reflective, but let's hope it focuses here. So we have this hook and opening design here. The tip is in 18 karat yellow gold. There's a little sort of band that goes around this part here, which is also 18 karat yellow gold, but I chose the one that had the yellow diamonds. So this is a size medium. We tried on a couple of sizes. I didn't want it to be too large because I didn't want it moving around up and down my wrist too much. My wrists probably are more of a size 16 or 17 if you were to go by that. So for example, this is just a cuff, so that one doesn't count, but this is my Cartier Love chain bracelet, and this is the small. So it does have two fittings, but I've got it sitting here on the slightly tighter one because I don't like my bangles and bracelets to move around too much. So up close you will see, and I'll get out of the way, the beautiful sterling silver effect. Then you've got your hook that clasps inside like that, and then up close here, hopefully you will see the beautiful 2 rows of yellow diamonds on either side. So if you know this bracelet, then you know this bracelet. You know, it's one of those if you know, you know situations. And here we have listed the engraving that is the Georg Jensen markings, and it is beautiful. So now I'm going to attempt to put it on myself, because the lady in the store, Sophie in the store, was very kind in putting it on for me. And if I can't do it, I'm going to have to get my daughter to do it for me. She hasn't even seen this yet. So, all right, let's see if I can do this. So got that on there like that. And now I'm just going to close it over. There. And there is my latest jewelry piece, and I will most likely wear it on this hand because I have a little bit of gold, silver happening. I've got this one. I chose this one in particular because, you know, depending on what I wear, I will have this PVD yellow gold plated cuff, which has a cubic zirconia on it. This is my rose gold Cartier, which has 2 little diamonds. So I chose the one that has the diamonds because it seemed to sort of like fit. And I have another bracelet, which you've seen me wear in other videos, which I can also wear on this wrist, even though they say you should do it in like odd numbers, which would also go quite well because of the combination of the silver and the gold. So I am very happy with this. Size-wise, it's a medium. Now, obviously, this is brand new, so it was a bit stiff, but as you take it on and off, then, you know, it will slowly start to widen. And it's a little bit like the Cartier Juste un Clou, the small model, which you can sort of like, filter it onto your wrist, you know, with time that will give a little bit. So that's what this will look like essentially. And it moves up and down nicely, so I'm not fussed about that at all. And, yeah, look, I've got a bit of an imprint because of how I pressed it when I put it on, but that's only because it's brand new and was a bit stiff. But all in all, that's the latest piece to my jewelry collection. Let me know what you think. I think it's stunning. Let's focus on that one. Don't worry about those. I think it's beautiful. And if I choose to take off the others also, beautiful piece. And it's one of those, you know, pieces that if you are familiar with Georg Jensen and everything else, their designs, then you know what this piece is. I was going to buy the actual Juste un Clou, and I missed out. So the price of this, even though for silver, is probably a little bit high, but given the nature of what's happening with silver and gold, you know, in the market recently and currently, it actually was a very approachable price. So I paid $1,275 for this, but it does have yellow diamonds, you know, little ones, but still, they are yellow diamonds in their own right. They are not just poor quality white diamonds, because I did specifically ask that question because I didn't want to sort of overpay for poor quality diamonds, white diamonds. She said, no, these are distinctly yellow diamonds so that they sort of like enhance the gold look. So the other option that I considered was this with the gold end and then the just plain gold little band here without the diamonds, and that was only about $100 less, $150 I think, I can't remember, $1,100 roughly. And I just thought to myself, it wasn't about the $100 odd difference, this one just looked better on my wrist. Then there was another that I was looking at when I was wandering around, and you know what it's like when you start looking around and wandering around the boutique, then you start to see other things, you pick them up and you're like, oh, hello. So there was a beautiful link bracelet that I'll pop a photo of here of me trying it on my left wrist. Beautiful. The only thing that I hesitated on that about was that the small was too small and the medium was actually very loose. So I would need to have a link taken out, which means that they need to send it away, alter it, and then send it back. And I was a little bit hesitant about doing that because I thought, I want to sort of sit on that idea for a little bit longer and see how that goes. So all in all, I have 2 beautiful sterling silver Georg Jensen jewelry pieces, which I adore and I will cherish. And I'd like to start buying jewelry so that I can then keep them and they can move on to my family. You know, when God calls me one day, I want my kids to look at some of my jewelry and not just the sort of like everyday jewelry, but you know, my nice jewelry, my good quality jewelry, the pieces that I have that represent something to me. If you're interested in seeing a jewelry collection, do let me know. I'm happy to share that with you. I have some beautiful high-end, obviously real gold pieces. I did not show you my beautiful Canturi ring that I bought for myself for my 50th, and I bought that for myself. You've seen it in some of my videos when I was wearing it, but I didn't actually officially show it to you. So if you're interested in me doing that 3 years later, let me know. Just recently, Dale from Undone by Dale has unboxed and revealed one of the most magnificent rings I've seen in a beautiful design, beautiful butterfly design. She and I are on the same page about Canturi, because Canturi has some of the most unique, distinct designs that are just stunning. So I think my next piece will be another Canturi piece. But again, we need to save up. We need to just keep hustling, don't we? But anyway, all in all, let me know what your thoughts are on this piece. Is this something you would buy? Is this something that you think works well with mixed metals? What are your thoughts overall? Do you think I should have gone for a large? The one in store that I tried on seemed a little bit looser than this, but that's because it had already been tried on many times. I think with this one, once I do that, it will sort of like, I don't know, it'll look different, but it moves around quite easily. So, you know, I'm not worried about that. So, yeah, I should stop rambling now, shouldn't I? I look forward to reading your comments. Take care, everybody. God bless, and I'll see you next time.